This version of Kimberly Ann Hart is from the world of the Coinless, who had served under Lord Drakkon as a brainwashed Power Ranger known as the Ranger Slayer. Not only her story, but also her character design is definitely one of my favourite things to come out of the Boom Studios comics, so I could not resist making this video covering her entire story, so let's get into it. The history of this version of Kimberly Hart parallels the history of her counterpart from the main timeline until events that create the world of the Coinless, which is the world that Drakkon is from. Kimberly fought alongside her fellow Power Rangers against the forces of Rita Repulsa and Lord Drakkon, culminating in the fall of the Power Rangers, a battle that saw the deaths of Jason Lee Scott, Billy Cranston, and her world's version of Zordon. As a result of the battle, Lord Drakkon claimed the Tyrannosaurus, Saber-toothed Tiger, Pterodactyl, and Mastodon power coins. Zack Taylor and Trini Kwan would eventually escape and form the resistance movement known as the Coinless. Kimberly was also a member of the Resistance, helping get people to safety and running reconnaissance missions with Bulk. On one of these side missions, she witnessed the death of her universe's Matthew Cook, her ex-boyfriend. This, combined with the other losses she had experienced, led her to wage an attack against Lord Drakkon on her own. Now, while she was able to defeat many sentries by herself, she eventually was put under mind control by Drakkon using a similar spell to the one Rita originally used on him as the Green Ranger. Even though the Pterodactyl power coin was originally claimed with the others and used to power Pterodactyl sentries, the coin was returned to her, and combined with the new evil energy of the Bow of Darkness, she became the Ranger Slayer. She becomes one of the most powerful Rangers in any timeline. She essentially is the most powerful Psycho Ranger that's ever been created, and a direct extension of Drakkon's power. She uses her power bow and Grave Zord, a Frankenstein-like Megazord. This Zord was pieced together from the remains of fallen Ranger Zords. It consists of the Thunder Megazord, White Tiger Zord, and Tor the Shuttle Zord. When Lord Drakkon was trapped in the main timeline, Ranger Slayer teamed up with Rita to bring him back to his universe. She brought her Gravezord into downtown Angel Grove to lure out the Power Rangers. An ensuing battle cost Alpha 5 his arm, but the main timeline's Kimberly was able to destroy her counterpart's evil bow, which ended up freeing her from Lord Drakkon's control. Before the events of the Necessary Evil arc, the Ranger Slayer led a ragtag team of Power Rangers from different universes to protect a Solar Ranger from Praetor and the Crimson Raiders. Her new squad of Promethea Rangers consisted of Tanya, the Yellow Zeo Ranger, Andros the Red Space Ranger, Mike, the Magna Defender, and Cam Watanabe, the Green Samurai Ranger, and finally Heckle, the Dark Dino Ranger. They teamed up to protect a special solar-powered morpher called Solarix and its owner, Ilarion. The Ranger Slayer led this team to victory against Praetor and even got the chance to wield the power of the Solarix to become a Solar Ranger herself. This was the Ranger Slayer's first chance to really prove she isn't out to destroy the morphing grid, but help put it back together. After being fully free of Lord Drakkon's control and in charge of her own destiny, she set out to rebuild her home universe with the help of the Coinless. There is a huge storyline then that follows involving the returning Rita and a battle for the power of Drakkon's throne amongst a bunch of alien invaders, with Scorpina coming out on top. A really cool little fact that is revealed amongst all of this is that all of the post-Rita villains that we see in the regular timeline, such as Lord Zed or the Machine Empire, all passed Earth by out of fear of Lord Drakkon during his rule. But after his defeat, they all wanted to take his place. I thought that was a really great way of explaining the lack of other villains in his universe and timeline. After defeating the Anointed and would assist the Coinless in defeating Drakkon's army that is now commanded by Scorpina, she would prove herself by successfully forming an alliance with Commander Scorpina to defeat the revived Rita Repulsa. Anyway, after all this, Bulk came to the realization that they would need a new common leader or they'd just tear the Earth apart in their new never-ending war. Much to Kimberly's immense surprise, he suggests her as the next Drakkon. And she tries to suggest that he was only joking for the others to agree, since the troops see her as Drakkon's successor and are loyal to her since she just won them a major victory. Scorpina tries to object, but Finster 5 tells her it might be a good idea to have her as a placeholder of sorts until they could find a better idea. Kimberly tries to refuse, but Scorpina reminds her of her speech from earlier about the greater good and personal needs versus societal needs. However, she does say to Finster 5 that Kimberly needs to look more imperial and has some ideas about that. Sometime later then, Kimberly was coronated as she says that they had survived an invasion by the dead, and that, despite the fact that the Coinless and Ranger sentries had different methods and allegiances, they both lost loved ones and they all had the goal of the common peace. She decides to forgive all past crimes committed and clean the proverbial slate. The Ranger sentries now bow to her as she concludes the speech by saying that they had all had to fight to save the Earth together and that today is a new beginning. The final page then shows Kimberly in the Ranger Slayer suit on Zed's giant throne, wearing a dragon shield-esque chestplate and a headpiece. Kim's first mission as leader would be to free all prisoners of Deadlock, including an unknown prisoner clad in armour who is eventually revealed to be none other than Jason Lee Scott. After being ravaged by Ecliptor after Jason retrieves the power coin and causing the Ranger sentries to lose their powers, she gives up her own power coin so that the entire populace would obtain Morphing Grid powers to fight off Ecliptor. Okay guys, that is it for the Ranger Slayer. Obviously there's a ton more information about her story in the comics, but if I covered every single detail we would be here all day, so definitely go and pick up Boom Studios comics to learn more about her character. Okay, thank you all so much for watching, may the power protect you, and I will see you next time on the 6th Ranger.